Without having a basic understanding of how layers work in Inkscape, you are very likely to come unstuck. So for example, you might get this selection arrow tool, and then you start trying to select things, but nothing is happening. And that's because of the way that your layers are set up. So with any image that you bring into Inkscape, if you look in this bottom panel, you are going to see this little area here where we have this eye, this little lock, and then this menu that kind of pops up. And this is actually your layers menu. So what we see here, where we see base, F-hold, etc., etc., is really Inkscape's version of what GIMP has over here in terms of layers. Now, unfortunately, you don't get to see a preview of what's on each layer. But if you want to be able to check what's on a particular layer, you click it, you select it from this list. So these are all layers. I could choose bridge. And you can switch this icon on or off. And as you can see, as soon as I switched it off and the eye now looks closed, that part of the image disappeared. So we know now that this bridge layer is talking about this little shape over here. And you could do that for any of these layers. For example, line handler is this top area. And another thing you want to know is this lock icon and what it does. When this lock icon is closed, it means that this layer line handler is locked and you can't edit it in any way. So we know which elements those are. Those are these teardrops that I really don't like for this image. So I can now decide I'm going to select them with this tool and get rid of them, but I'm clicking and nothing's happening. That's because this layer is locked. If I click this lock icon, it's now unlocked. If I now take this select and transform objects tool, now you see when I hover over one of these objects, you get this little hand icon. And that's very important. That tells you that what you're hovering over is something that you can edit. So I can now click this particular object and select it, and if I hit delete, it's gone. And I can do the same for all of these. And so I could go through, for example, I'm also not a big fan of these objects, but you can see when I hover that I don't get any hand, even though I've got the selection tool active, which means that these objects are locked. So what I've got to do is find out what layer they're on. So unfortunately, you just have to kind of start from the top. So if we go from base, that's not it. F-hold, that's not it. Handbar, that's not it. Line handler, still not it. Okay, and we can see that it's footer. So what I do is click the lock icon to unlock the footer layer. Now when I hover over, I get my hand, and I can select one of those objects and hit backspace to get rid of them. I actually don't mind the second one, but I don't particularly like the way that it looks. So I'm going to leave it there, and we're going to see in the next few videos how I can manipulate this.